Hit Season 2.
In Pro League for that. Imagine KT with 2 Terrans and 2 Protosses that are just unbelievably good. Zest, TY, Stats, and Gumiho. Like, imagine that lineup. They would just be not able to be defeated, unstoppable. But we are going to jump into game number 2. And no surprise, we all go for Dream here. Forte hasn't had the most success so far in Pro League.
This is a game that Forte can win, though. For me, this is not the obvious pick. It's the most likely pick. Dream hasn't been fielded that much.
Yeah, very, very true. He's getting a shot here up against Forte on Frost. Up here in the top left, in the teal for MVP, it is Forte.
And down here in the bottom left, in orange, it's the SK Telecom T1 player, Dream. A Star League finalist himself, losing to Maru in the very first season of Starcraft 2 Star League.
Saying we need to defeat SKT in order to be 3-3, I believe, and have a chance of getting into the grand postseason.
Well, we'll see if that happens. I want to talk about Forte for a minute here. Oh, he came alone.
Wasuyo. It's a play on words there, using Sue in the word for to come. So she came down to the studio by herself 4 times, she said.
Yeah.
Probably a Sue fan, I would assume.
She's going to have to...
assume.
Oh! You're going to have to go find him after the match because he's not set to play today. And I think he's here. Not 100% sure. But
can't really see the whole bench. He might not be here, actually. SKT hasn't really been having too much success, so maybe they keep some players home to practice instead of coming down to the studio.
The most memorable game for me, for Forte, who, by the way, people have been following since the beginning of StarCraft 2. He's been playing since the beginning. He's another one of those players. His old ID was Salvation. He's a very good Terran player. Actually did some race swapping for a while. I think he was playing Protoss at the beginning of Wings Delivery, then switched to Terran. But anyway, Forte, his most memorable game to me was in recent times, and it was actually his game versus Bomber, where Bomber defended his timing attack, and then he was able to, basically, while being 50 or 60 supply down, defend Bomber's aggression very well and nearly come back to win the game.
Yeah.
I think it was on King Sejong Station, or maybe
Laralak Crest.
Laralak Crest, maybe. It was a 2-player map, but the point I'm getting at here, though, is he has great decision-making in mid to late game TVT. His macro doesn't miss a beat. I find that sometimes, though, in the early game, something will happen to him that will force him to be playing from behind. And he needs to maybe tighten up his defense against drops, against Banshee play. Obviously, the game versus Bomber, he went for an attack and it failed, so that was how he got behind. But if he can just tighten up his early game, I think this guy is a player who has so much experience. He's been playing, you know, as long as Dream has. They're both old players from the beginning. Funny as it is, I know a lot of people don't think about this, they probably forgot about this. Dream had his start and most of his fame from MVP. He was on the team MVP,
yeah,
and he moved later on into SKT as Kespa picked up more and more of the old ESF players. And then he finally had that one Star League run where he became most famous, but he had incredible runs at MLG. He won the Spring Arena. It was actually a tournament I was casting at. So, I mean, he's got big results, okay? And he's an incredible player. He always has been. Both of these guys have been playing for a long time. And I think that they both have the same sort of game sense. Maybe Dream has more talent. I talk about this a lot. But you can see the difference between a Kespa team that's the most well-funded team in Korea for all esports versus, you know, MVP, which has been somewhat struggling in StarCraft 2.
Those trees are on fire.
Yes.
Someone getting them out. They did go out by themselves almost immediately.
You know,
we are on Frost. I suppose that might have something to do with it.
You ever play the game Ski Free?
No, but I've heard of it.
It's the best when you make the trees go on fire when you ski past them. Someone out there knows what I'm talking about. I know those out there who played Ski Free.
Unnatural. Wolf, I don't know.
There's actually wolves in Ski Free.
Oh, is that where you got your name?
I guess they're more like they're not really wolves. They're like wolf men that like, eat things, but that's not where I got my name.
Sounds kind of scary, actually.
It is a scary game, actually. It scared me like crazy when I was a kid, but I still kept playing it.
It's like that game you showed me with the rabbits that fight or whatever.
Oh yeah, what's that game called? Lugaru? That's a great game.
Really scary game. Don't play that one.
It's pretty spooky.
It's just unnatural. That's why it's scary. It just like creeps me out for some reason.
By the way, look at this. We look to have another mech versus mech game here. Bio out of the picture. Wow. Scan goes down, really well timed. Forte sees what he's up against.
This is like, I mean, the fact that we're seeing this twice in a day, usually when this happens means that there's been like a significant shift in the meta recently in Korea.
Yeah. And
this is just the way that people play now. Like maybe just someone figured it out how to beat Bio with mech, and then they were just like, oh no, I'm just gonna play mech against this.
Look at this timing attack from Dream. He's gonna use these Vikings to try to disrupt the Hellion positioning. Now he's gonna force his way into the mineral line. Forte reacting very poorly. He's running his Hellions away when he needs to be actually having them try to split and buy time. He's going to lose SCVs and Hellions.
Really
and he's lost control of his natural.
Really nice control by Dream, too, to actually back off when he realized he was getting bunched up a bit. Whereas Forte, as you said, just very, very passive, kind of just letting Dream take control of this entire thing.
No confidence to fight this. Yeah, he was down in Hellions, but he needed to be more, he needed to lift and pull out completely or commit to the fight, and he did neither, and he just lost the game. This is what I'm talking about. His early game weakness is his biggest weakness in TVT, and it will cost him this game.
So much for another mech versus mech fun game. Having this one end very early on, 27, 29 SCVs go down, and Dream keeps all of his Vikings alive.
Yep, and Dream is more than doubling the supply of Forte now. Don't be fooled, just because he survived doesn't mean he has a chance.
These Vikings will kill the Hellions.
Yep. Just rallying back these over. GG. SKT ties it up. And everything in this match, you know, when it comes to this best of 5, is somewhat predictable, you know? That's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, 7-0 vote, 7-0 vote. All working out the way we designed it, Wolf. 1-1 MVP versus SKT. Gumiho was MVP's one hope. Who's going to be the player that steps up tonight to give Gumiho another chance to play in the ace match? That's my question, Wolf.
Well, there's 2 more mirror matchups that we have to go through. If either Ryung or Departure can take a win, we may go there. But it's a long shot at this point. But I think this game, this matchup particularly, Forte versus Dream, was their toughest one. It was the one that were least likely to win. But now, Ryung, a great TVT player, I think stands a better chance against Innovation. I think Departure, if he comes with a good build prepared, has a better chance against Dark. So, yeah, it is still possible, however unlikely. And I'm not going to lie to you guys and say, what, there's, like, I mean, of course they can still do it. They absolutely have a strong chance. It's not true. But there is a chance.
Definitely a chance here, guys. We're going to take a short break before we jump into Ryung versus Innovation, so don't go anywhere. We'll